Hello friends, in this video I'm going to talk about job description. Now whether you are from HR or not, it is important for you to know what a job description is. Job description, or as it is called as JD in the short form. So job description is an important aspect within the HR function. It is used for hiring purposes. Now, even if you are not in HR, it is important for you to understand what a JD is, how the HR creates a JD, what are the components, and very importantly, in this video, I'm going to tell you about how to use job descriptions for your own development, how you can use it for job search, for skill enhancement, all those aspects. I'm going to give you a secret tip in this video. So stay tuned till the end. Now, let us start from the perspective of HR. What a job description is. If you are from HR, you would know that job description is a kind of blueprint for any job role. So whatever positions are there in the corporate, the various positions, managerial, supervisor, or the top level, for all the positions in any organization, there is a detailed document describing what the job role is, what are the skills required to perform that job, what are the duties, what are the attributes required, what are the qualifications, and what are the job situations that are there that any individual who is applying for that particular role should know. So that from that perspective, usually job description is created. All right. Now, the job description, in most cases, it is created for hiring, as I mentioned, and it is used in most cases for hiring only. Now, in this video, I'm going to tell you, if you are from HR, you should know job description and use it not only for hiring, but also for other sub-functions if you are taking care of. So stay tuned and I will tell you that what are the other sub-functions wherein you can use a job description and how you can use it. First of all, let us understand what the job description is. So as I mentioned, it is a kind of blueprint for any job role. It is a document which consists of all the requirements to perform a duty well. So the components or the subsections within a job description that will be a part of any document that tells about any particular role will consist of all these things. It will consist of the job title, a summary, detailed responsibilities, qualifications, skills, working conditions, salary info, reporting structure, company's overview, and applying instructions. So this is how the skeleton, this is how the job description is normally created. These are the sections within a job description document. Okay, let us get into a little more depth and understand each of these components a little better so that we are able to create job descriptions for our own organizations and we are also able to use it for our own purposes. So let us see. So I'm taking an example of job description of an HR manager. Let us see that. So as I mentioned, the first part will be the job title. So job title is like for HR manager, the job description is for HR manager. So the job title will be HR manager. Then there comes a summary, which is a short introduction. In our CV or resume anywhere, we give a short summary of our profile, right? That is what is a similar thing over here also. We give a summary of the job. What are the roles that this particular job will perform in a summary format. Okay, so that is the first thing. Then comes the responsibilities. So supervisory responsibilities or duties or managerial responsibilities. You can name it in any way, but these will be the sections within the job description which will tell about the responsibilities of that particular role. So basic duties of that particular role, that is what we will mention. So here, as it is mentioned, supervisory responsibilities. So recruits, interviews, hires, and trains new staff in the department, oversees daily workflow of the department, provides constructive and timely performance evaluations. So these are the supervisory role for an HR manager in order to take care of his or her team, right? Then comes the specific duties and responsibilities. So you can either bifurcate into duties and responsibilities, supervisory responsibilities, or function or managerial responsibilities. In any way, you can name it in any way, and you can divide it into subsections, or you can keep it as a common duties and responsibilities as one section, and you enlist everything that comes as the responsibility of that particular role. All right. So here, as we take the example, partners with the leadership team to understand and execute the organization's HR and talent strategy, particularly as it relates to current and future talent needs, recruitment, retention, etc., etc. So I'm not getting into the details, but basically what it includes is all the enlisting of all the responsibilities and duties that any individual who joins at that particular role or is performing his or her function at that particular role will do. All right. Moving on to required skills and abilities. Now here there will be sections like verbal communication, negotiation, or other skills. For example, MS Excel, PowerPoint skills, or using of certain tools, like SAP or anything, if that is there. All those things will come here. Abilities and competencies, those kind of things can come here. Verbal communication, integrity, professionalism, such things would be part of this section. Then comes the education and experience. So in order to perform that job well, what education level is required? What experience is required? That all will be part of the education and experience. Any other requirement, in this case, physical requirement is there. So if the job is related to factory or any specific situation, then those things can be included in the JD. Then there would be the salary and company's overview and how to apply those things, as I mentioned. So basically, these are the components of job description. Now, as an HR professional, normally what people do, as I mentioned, they pick up a job description from the internet and with a few changes, they use as it is. I recommend that if you are in HR, then you must work on creating the JDs for various levels in your organization, at least for the key roles in your company. Why? Because when you create the JDs, it becomes a kind of basis for various other sub-functions of HR. So if the JD is there, that can be used in order to, number one, hire the right candidate. Number two, it can be used for training need identification. So let's say an individual has to be promoted to the next level. So job description of that next level can be taken up as a basis for the skills required for this individual, right? So from that perspective, when the person has to be promoted, what are the skills wherein he or she needs to develop? That is where the job description of that next level will be useful. So that way, the job description can be used for promotion, for training, for succession planning, all these sub-functions within HR. Job description can become a very powerful tool, a very powerful baseline in order to use it for various sub-functions. Okay, how to create a job description? The first and very important thing is to understand your organization. When a job description has to be created, it is important that the job description should be related to organization's goals. So the first thing is to understand the organization's vision, mission, goals, values, all those things. Based on those things, then the job description of the key roles of the organizations should be decided. Okay, so the skills and the competencies, all those things that are required for all the key roles will be based on the goals of the organization, isn't it? So that way, the first thing is to identify the roles for which you are creating the job description. The second step is to understand the organization, and basis the understanding of the organization, you then start creating the job description. And the third thing is that you meet the stakeholders of the organization, you meet the key stakeholders for the roles that you have taken up in order to create the job descriptions for all those roles. You meet the the department heads or the key stakeholders who are related to those roles, and you discuss with them and come up with the skills and qualifications. So that is the fourth thing, that you identify the skills, knowledge and other components, add the attributes and other requirements, and that is how you will create the job description. Now there is one more step that you can include if it is feasible, that you observe that particular job role. You observe people performing the job role. So if there are successful people who are performing well at a certain position and you want to create a job description for that position, you can look at the person's entire day's working, what the person is doing, how that person is doing. So based on that observation also, you can put certain aspects related to skills and knowledge and all of these things in the job description. So that is another thing which you can include, observing the people working in that particular job role. That is another step which, if feasible, you can include. So finally, with all these, you create the job description, you create the document, and then comes the next part, which is also very important, to review and get the approval. So many a times this step gets missed. It is important to get it reviewed by the stakeholders, take the document back to them, get it reviewed and take their approval, and that is how your final JD will be created. Now some do's and don'ts about job description. Don't be wordy. Don't create job description in a lengthy format. Keep it in bullet points as far as possible. Keep simple language and engage the stakeholders in order to create the job description. So these are some of the important aspects that you should take care of when you are creating JD. Next step is documentation and training or orientation. So once you have done with the job description creation, the document is created. In most cases, I have seen that once the document is created, it is filed and used only when the hiring is there, when the vacancy arises. Now, this is important. The next step of training and orientation is important. Once you create the job description, you should put this in front of every individual in the organization, that this is the job description, this is the work that you have done, and this is what has been the final outcome. This is what is the JD for various roles in the company. And that is how you will be able to use the JD for other purposes like training and succession planning and all those things, as I mentioned. So people, various departments, managers, department heads, they should know that JD has been created and they can use it for various purposes in their own department. Okay, so that is another important step which gets missed many a times. Now, final tip, periodic reviews and updates. In many situations, I've seen that this is again another step which gets missed. Once a job description is created, it is filed and it is used for years. No reviews, no updates are being done. So make it a point, create a schedule to review it every, say, 6 months, or at least once in a year. It should be reviewed and it should be updated so that you have the right skills, the updated skills as per the market situations as well. That is what is important, right? The organization's goals and vision, all these things might change based on the market situation. So your job description should also change and it should be updated. So that is what is important. Now coming to the point that I mentioned, for any individual, whether you are in HR or not, how you can use job description for your own development, for your own growth. So this is a secret tip I'm going to give you, that whichever position you are looking forward to move to in next few years, for that particular position, find out at least 10 job descriptions from the internet, from naukri.com or from any portal, LinkedIn, anywhere. Find out at least 10 job descriptions for that next position that you are looking forward to move to in next few years. Find out the job descriptions and read and understand the responsibilities, understand the skills, the attributes, the competencies that are required in order to perform that next position well. So when you will read through the responsibilities and duties, From there, you'll be able to extract the skills that are needed to perform those responsibilities. And there would also be mentioned, the skills and responsibilities will be mentioned in the job description. So pick up those and create your own list of the skills and attributes, competencies that you need to develop over a certain period of time in next few years, right? So that is how you can use the knowledge of JD in your own career development. So that is something which I wanted to tell you about JD. So understanding JD, what is it, how the HR creates a JD, and how you can use job description for your own development, for your own skills and knowledge and competencies identification, where you want to develop in order to grow in your career. That is what you can do with the help of JD. All right, so that's all in this video. We will meet in the next video with a similar topic. If you want to know about anything else related to these topics, feel free to share your comments in the comment box, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.